Access Fort Wayne offers reflections of our community. Production facilities provided by Access Fort Wayne are a service of the Allen County Public Library. The views and opinions expressed do not necessarily represent those of Access Fort Wayne, the Allen County Public Library, or any other supporting organizations. For more information about creating your own television program with Access Fort Wayne, call 421-1250.
Hello again. Guess who this is? No, this is Patty Hunter of Patty's Page, and I have two guests with me today. Yep, two. This one beside me is John Dickmeyer. Hello, John.
Hello, Patty. How are you?
I'm doing good. Whoa, strong handshake.
That's right.
Terry Doran, my friend. So, welcome to my show. So, what are we going to talk about today? What are we going to talk about? What would you like to talk about? Do you have any ideas what you want?
Oh, I have all kinds of ideas, but Terry, what kind of ideas do you have?
Oh, what kind of ideas do I have? Well, I told Patty maybe we should talk about our project now called TRACK, since we're all involved in that.
That's short form for...
It is a short form for
Three Rivers
Arts Center
for kids.
For kids,
and it's for kids. Yeah.
So, why are we doing this?
Well, you're both involved. We have a committee, and you are big parts of that, both of you. So
and you are the founder of this.
Well, it seems like a good topic. If we have other ideas, we can branch out into other ideas. But we've done two Theater for Ideas shows on the power of art and therapy. We had 5 therapists, excellent, superb shows. So was the art show. We had Chewy and Hillary performing the original song about child abuse called For the Children, inspired by your poem. And today, December 8th, we are having one of the guests on that first show, the art show, Kate Majorans, who teaches at the Dance Collective, is choreographing an original dance to that song. So that's very exciting. And she has, I think, 7 students from her class at the Dance Collective to perform it. And the idea of these shows is to raise awareness about the track. It started out being called the Children's Museum. I think on Facebook it's still called Fort Wayne Children's Museum, so don't be confused if you find that on Facebook. It's the same thing, it's just that some people felt museum didn't quite describe what we're doing. There's a heavy component of art to work with kids, have therapists involved, and track. In fact, John had come up with a title similar, a little bit longer, and then your husband Bob shortened it to the catchy track idea. So,
and track, that's symbolic. So, what would you like to tell me about? Why is it so that track?
Well, I think, Patty, what we're talking about here is as much a concept as a place, and we're talking about a center, a place where artists of various branches of art can work with and mentor and teach kids, all kids, but especially kids who have been abused and neglected. And they're the most vulnerable kids in our society, and they need the most love and attention because in most cases they're not getting that significantly in a home environment. And we need to make sure that these kids have that.
Also, this center that we're going to be putting together, will there be therapists for helping the parents who have done the abuse? Do you think so, Terry?
Well, yeah, as I said, we had Dottie Fuentes, a therapist, put together an excellent show with 4 other therapists talking about different kinds of abuse, from physical, emotional, and ways to combat it, and numbers to call, like SCAN, and a national service 800 number. Excellent, and all of those people, I think it's fair to say, would be interested in helping, in talking to people. We're not a therapy center. No. You know, what we're going to try to offer is people's good heart to help people that need help the most. And as John said, it will be for everybody. Yes. The emphasis is on kids that need help the most, but we want all kids to come, and parents, and to be involved. But therapy would be a big part of it. I think the dance is an example of the power of art. That Kate heard the song, was so moved that she wanted to use her art to add to the song. And as we said, it started with your poem. So I think we've demonstrated what we want to do in the center, that it works, and that's what we're trying to do. Our next big project, of course, is to actually find some building. The mayor, in a meeting with me, said he was all for the idea and that he would help find a building. And so right now, I think that's our focus.
I think what we're talking about when we talk about parental involvement is not necessarily a remediation situation for a particular parent, but approaches to helping parents towards healthy parenting. And a lot of that can be done in an art situation involving parents as well as the kids in the arts.
Good point.
But then again, getting back to what Terry's been saying, the facility is important, and we had talked about different locations, and one of the places that we thought would be very good would be in the city center, downtown Fort Wayne, and close to the rivers because of the beauty of
Riverside.
the rivers.
Riverside.
Yeah, I mean, Fort Wayne needs some energy downtown. Yes. And being downtown, it would be centrally located, so anybody and everybody can get there. It'd be easy to find, and it'd be on a bus route. I think that's important. Not everyone has a car, and we'd encourage bus travel, better for the environment. And as John said, also close to a river, because Fort Wayne's main source of beauty is the 3 rivers. Yes. And I think rivers aesthetically is kind of an art form in itself. And and I'd like to see also some outside area where kids can play, because studies show that both that art and play, just movement, which is kind of an art form, dance,
painting,
is powerful for all of us, but especially for children.
Will there be classes?
I'd see classes, yeah.
Dance classes or writing or painting or...
Well, as John said, with art, we'd try to address every kind of art there is. I mean, Fort Wayne has a lot of different artists, you know, so writing, painting, filmmaking, dancing.
We'll be needing volunteers to be able to do that.
Yeah, and get the artists. I think, you know, you feel good to help other people. That's another aspect of this.
Will there be a skeleton crew? I mean, people who...
Well, we'll have a big fundraising work in front of us. Because, yes, we'd have to have some people paid. I mean, you have to have somebody there to organize the volunteers, to call them, to make sure they show up. You'd have to have some kind of a maintenance program to keep the building
keep the grounds
going. Yeah, keep the grounds looking good. You certainly don't want disrepair. You know, the first thing you see is weeds and stuff. I mean, you want a nice look. It doesn't have to be a fancy building, but it has to be nice and clean and safe, of course.
So, with the children, what?
Well, you know, this month, what started my idea for this was high-profile child abuse cases in Fort Wayne.
Yes.
And starting with April Tinsley back in the 80s, still an unsolved case. And then we had last year the case that got so much publicity and was so sad, the little girl in the trailer park alley was killed by a neighbor, by a friend actually, and that just got people really thinking about child abuse. And then I think on this day, December 8th, a little Hispanic girl, Alexandra, was kidnapped waiting for her bus to go to school on a school delay. And these got national attention. And what started me thinking was, what kind of city wants that for their national attention? So let's change that and use that to help kids to try to prevent these horrible crimes.
So we need police and spiritual advisors also?
Well, child abuse is a gigantic problem. You know, America has the highest rate of child abuse of any industrialized country. We're a very materialistic culture. We're with corporations, we often put money over profit over people. So one center cannot stop child abuse. But
work with
if you say one center can't stop it, so what's the point? Then nothing will ever make a dent. So that's what we're trying to do.
What I'm saying is we can work with other agencies organizations here.
Oh, absolutely.
We're not taking over their authority or what they're doing. We're adding, and we are branching out to help others.
Yeah, John wrote a very good one-page summary of the goals, and I think in that summary was we would also be sort of a referral service. So if you come to us and you think, oh my gosh, where can I go to get more help? Well, you can go to SCAN. Where can I go to get more interaction? Boys and Girls Club.
Yes.
You know? Where can I go to get a full-time mentor? Big Brothers, Big Sisters. That sort of thing. I mean, yes, we can't provide everything all those agencies do. We should supplement them.
So what made you write all that information out, like what he's just talking about?
Well, it's necessary for any group to have a cohesive plan. If you don't have a plan, you're not going to be able to get the grants and the other aid that you need.
Right.
If you're talking about federal government, that's one of the first things they ask for money, and the other thing is it's a part of a cohesive way to become a not-for-profit.
Oh, are we a non-for-profit then?
So,
Yes,
this organization is moving towards becoming a not-for-profit, and then the next step is the 501c3 status that allows the group to offer tax advantages to people who give. That is vitally important because, unfortunately, we do live in a society where if you can't get a benefit for giving, you may not give. Certainly that isn't all people, but many people are in that position. So years back, I was a business advisor and business specialist at the Allen County Public Library. And when we were talking with people who were planning on getting into a not-for-profit situation, we always started with mission statement and objectives. And then you just build that into the process. Right. And then when you ask for money, you have that all prepared, and people know where you're going. Then, if on many grants you can subdivide what you really need and tear that apart and put that into a compact section, and specify this is for this portion of the activity, and your chances of getting the money that you're looking for have been enhanced by several magnitude. So that's where most not-for-profits that are successful go, and that's where we ought to be going.
And businesses and foundations and so forth, government, they won't even consider you if you not have that tax-exempt status. That's a federal tax-exempt status we're talking about. So that is a goal, definitely, and will require some work and effort. But we're willing to do it. You know, I think the key is that we have so many people already interested in this and involved. I've mentioned some. I mean, 5 therapists came on a Saturday, all of them from, well, one was from Fort Wayne, the other 4 from, outlying areas. So, I mean, that's a commitment, that's interest, to give up a Saturday morning and drive 20, 30 miles. Kate, we mentioned, I know she teaches 2 or 3 different places, maybe more. So this is a commitment on her part. The kids dancing, coming in on a Saturday. They've been rehearsing on Sunday nights. I mean, to have an original song, original dance for a group, I think is powerful. And as John said, you take your best things and build from that. And you make a mission statement, as we're discussing, and boil that down to 1 or 2 sentences. And being business director of the library, I mean, you've seen it all, probably. The groups that work, the groups that don't work, why it works, why it doesn't work. There's certainly a kind of an art to fundraising. I've written a lot of grants, mostly small ones, and writing a grant is kind of like the lottery, I mean, you write it, you put all the work into it. It's mostly it's all or nothing. Right. You either get something or you don't.
Well, it depends largely upon the people that read the grant. And if you've touched a spark in the heart of the people that read it, then you will get something. You'll either get the full amount or you'll get a part of it. And it may be the best idea in the world, and if it isn't what they're looking for to spend money, then you don't get anything. So one of the things that a good organization will do, and I know will do, is scout out funding sources and let them know exactly where we're going, apart from any grant procedure, so that they're familiar with the organization.
Cool.
And that's one of the reasons that we've done the TV shows, to
make awareness.
It's the spark. It's the spark to get.
Yeah.
Planting the seed.
Well, and it shows right off, we've got people involved. Quality people. Top-notch artists, top-notch therapists. And, we invite anybody watching to lend your talent. And you don't have to be an artist or a therapist.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other avenues to explore too, but those are our two main areas. But there's all kinds of things, you can do. Help keep the building clean, help organize the volunteers, all kinds of things.
So it's a big project. It's going to take a wee bit of a while to get together and get everything top notch and everything like that. But we're in it for the long haul, and we're going to be helping the children, definitely helping the children, and the parents, of course, who may have been abused themselves. We have to stop, or try to stop. Really, we want to stop the abuse and neglect that's been happening. I know that with the job situation, not enough money is being earned, not enough jobs is out there, so that's a lot of stress, especially around Christmas. And I'm praying that people will be getting interested in our cause here, our mission, and that they can be able to volunteer if they want and help us out. Do you have any last things? We got about 3 minutes left.
Well, I think what we need to understand is that this particular project has a twin focus. It has the mental health focus towards helping children who are abused and neglected. That's one. The other is promoting the arts with this group.
Reaching out.
Yes, and sometimes that would look like it's an awfully great amount to be put on the plate. But actually the arts are a channel towards the spirit of a human being.
Therapy.
They are.
Beautifully put. And we already have wonderful artists involved, from mural painters. That's another thing. We want to do a mural and paint it here in the library. And we're working on that. We have photographers, filmmakers, writers, dancers. So we've got a good nucleus, and we're building from that.
It's grassroots right now, and we're building our way up to the top, and we're getting more momentum, like a snowball at the top of the hill going down, a big snowball at the bottom. But we are starting out small, and we're getting bigger now, like I said, with more people who are interested, because child abuse is not good. Taking it out on innocent children who cannot fight back, that's not right. So we're here to help you. We're going to help our children here in Fort Wayne, and hopefully we will get to be nationwide and maybe international. as time goes on. So, yes, we have several minutes left. So, do you have anything?
Well, I think
say,
it will
Terry?
attract people to downtown. I think Fort Wayne, you know, I did a show a couple of years ago when it was a city, because I grew up in the 50s when Fort Wayne had a thriving downtown with Wolf and Dessars and locally owned businesses and trolleys and buses. And I mean, there's some good things, you know, art museum, the new stadium, this new library, but the heart of it is still lacking, and I think it would bring people. You had brought up a very good point about the lack of work.
Yes.
That contributes to poverty. Poverty contributes to stress, which contributes to violence, child abuse. You know, in our society, I just want to add, we were going to talk about this Penn State guy, the president, that got fired because Penn State's a national case of multiple child abuse cases, and big shots there from coaches to the president knew about it, turned their head. And this guy got a payoff of like $2 million. You know, so we should be able to get $2 million because we want to prevent child abuse.
That's right.
And the other thing I want to say is, this has attracted, I want to say, some of the best people I've ever met, and you two are included in that category.
So you have several seconds to yourself?
Well, we've talked about the holidays, and we've talked about child abuse, and oftentimes, quickly, what's involved is maybe one of the parents goes through a bad situation, and then it trickles down. And the thing we need to do is use the arts to stop the trickle down of violence and abuse.
Well, I'd like to thank my guests, John Dickmeyer and Terry Doran, for coming on to my show.
Excellent.
Thank you. And we'll have more shows like this, talking about track. So God bless, and hope to see you again soon. I know we will next week. Have a great day, and God bless. Bye-bye.